Dear students, in the last classes, we have seen what health insurance is and the principles of general insurance, and then at the end, we saw advantages and disadvantages of health insurance. In today's class, let us see little forward about the health insurance. So, the first let us begin with the functions of health insurance. So, what are the main function? What is the main activity of the health insurance? So, a health insurance program has two main functions. So, the two main functions are to increase access to health care. That is one. Means people many do not go to the hospitals because they don't have the funds. The moment somebody is assuring that some contribution is given, so that they will move to the hospital. So health care facility could be given even to the poor and marginalized and other categories. So second is to protect households from high medical expenses at the time of illness. So households means to the people, so to the general people, general public, to protect the public from high medical expenses. Some illnesses, when you incur, high medical expenses will follow. So at that time, this health insurance will come on their way to help them. So these are the two main interests or two main functions of health insurance. One is to provide health care to maximum people, and second to lessen their burden of the medical expenses. Let's move to the next slide. So, how to plan health insurance? So, whenever you want to have a insurance, you plan it. So, in the case of insurances, what all things you have to health insurance, what all things you have to keep in mind, borne in mind, that will say one, when and what is the expected requirement. When and what is the expected requirement? What do you want exactly? Because there are various types of the health insurances, because every health insurance doesn't cover everything, and at what time you want. So sometimes some may feel at the very young age you don't require. Now it's like a very huge health insurance policy. For example, take per year you have to say 5,000 you have to pay for one insurance, and you are not, that amount is not refunded, and you are of the age 25, 26, 27. At that age, usually people won't prefer that, because that's not a time where you get sicknesses. That's why that you have to when and what is the expected requirement is the basic thing. Second, features to look for while choosing a health plan, flexibility of the plan. So what we require is what are the features of the health plan, because a health policy, when they will provide with you so many features. So some benefits, refundable amounts, then medical facilities that are providing, all things they will tell you. So all those things has to be looked after and planned well. Then flexibility of the plan also is one of the important aspects. So flexibility of the plan means, so for the time being you are having a one policy, suddenly you want to change the policy, such a flexibility should be there. Or when you have begun one policy, there should be a provision to when you don't want, you have to close down. So such arrangements should be there. Then guaranteed renewability. So now you are making a policy, is it a renewable or for a very short period? All these things has to be glanced through, or simply without any knowledge, if you get into that, then later you will be losing your finance. Then number of critical illnesses covered, number of critical illnesses covered. There are various many number of critical illnesses, and how many, which all things are covered, that has to be looked after. Some severe illnesses insurance policies will not cover, because they are of heavy this expenses, and for the insurance companies also cannot be borne out. So a person may be going for coma and he will not be coming out at all, and for in such cases, for how many days and years will they keep in the ICU and all. So such things are there. Then limit of the family size, for how many members your insurance policy covering. If you have a very big family. At today, we are all having a micro families, just a father, mother, and one or two children. But in case you have 6, 7 children, so the family number will be 10, 12. If you make a family insurance policy, then the insurance company is born. Therefore, how many members are covered, that restrictions also are there in the family insurance, health insurance policies. That also has to be planned. Then option of relevant and segmented benefit for parents. So there are some separate options and segments for the parents, because when the age is increasing, the sickness is also increase, and for that reason there is a separate policies. Then number of hospitalization days and daily cash limit. So per day how much, so when you are hospitalized, how many days you will be paid, and per day how much expenses will be paid. So for example, you may be taking a luxurious treatment, then the insurance company, wait, think, see, we are paying only this much, they will say. Okay, additional than that you have to bear. So per day in the case of hospitalization, what all things are borne has to be looked after. Then medical network, so in which all hospitals you can go and get the treatment, all those things has to be also planned very well. Or your insurance policy will be giving your medical facility even in your nearest hospital has to be looked after and asked. These are the important things about the health insurance when you are going to have it. Therefore plan well before going for an health insurance. Next, let's see with the how to claim the health insurance. See, various health insurance schemes they give you in detail, but in general these things we are speaking. So these are not the common. The for the special things there are special categories. Special schemes have a special procedure for claiming the health insurance. In general, these policies will be there. So get admitted in any one of network hospital. Usually health insurance will come only when you get admitted into the hospital. That's more important, getting admitted in the hospital, and that is also a hospital which is covered under the health insurance scheme. Then fax the pre-authorization form along with relevant documents. So whenever you are getting admitted to the health insurance company, you have to fax or send the authorized forms of their documents. Then obtained itemized receipts and bills. See, you have to receive all the bills and the receipts of your payments, otherwise health insurance will not, you cannot claim the health insurance. So you have to own all the bills and receipts. On the mouth you can't say this is the amount for this. Get your claim form. So the insurance company's claim forms are there, that has to be got. So you should be get ready with your authorization form, then relevant documents, then this one hospital details, all those things. Then make copies, not only one copy. So there is a each scheme will say that 3 copies, 2 copies, 3 copies you have to send it. So review, so all whether you have made all the documentation, then final step is send it. So this is a simple procedure, and each scheme gives its own procedures that you can see and get it. Let's move to the next topic, that is types of health insurance. In the health insurance, we have basically 3 types. So still more there are, but basically 3 types. And from your exam point of view, this is one of the important topic, types of health insurance. So one is social health insurance, second is private health insurance, and community based health insurance. Social health insurance means that health insurance that is provided on the basis of the government rules and regulations. Then another is the private health insurance, that is private companies are running. Then community based health insurance are of the community and given by the supported by the government too. So these are the common types of the health insurances. Underneath there are many insurances types that will be dealing in the later classes. So now let's go with one after the another, and especially first we'll take the social health insurance. So social health insurance, so this is the first type of health insurance. There are 2 mandatory and contributory health insurance schemes in India. So in the case of social insurance, we have another 2 types, That first type is the central government health scheme for the government of India's employees. See, be clear, I'll read once again. The central government health scheme for the government of India's employees. See, whoever are employed in the government, this one, or working for having a government job, they have the central government health scheme. When they fall sick, they are looked after by this, and further explanation of this we will be dealing in detail this scheme. Then second scheme you might have heard many times, the employees state insurance scheme, that is called ESI. So very familiar for the low paid industrial workers. This is all company, factory, organizational workers. It may come even the hotels, this one what you call construction workers, education teachers, all private employees. These are not the government employees, private employees. And this scheme also, ESI scheme, what it is and how, when it started, and all the details we will be seeing today in today's class. Then the eligible people contribute towards a specific health fund. This fund then finances specific benefit for them. See, what it means is, see, insurance means you have to contribute something, and when the requirement comes, so the company or the insurance organization will compensate you. The fund then finances specific benefits for them. So then there is another Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana for BPL families is a recent addition. This is another social health scheme. This is not for everybody. So RSBY. So that is for only BPL families. This is a recent addition in the social health insurance. But mainly we have to deal with CGHS and ESI. Now let's deal with the concept ESI, Employee State Insurance. This is one concept, one thought you have to keep in mind when you are speaking about ESI. ESI is not for the government employees. ESI is for the private employees. And what are the conditions that we'll see here? But private employees of any type of the organization, industry, company, or so this ESI was established in 1948. Some changes were brought in 1975, 84 and 89. The Employees State Insurance Scheme provides both cash and medical benefits. See, there are ESI hospitals. Some means where you can get the ESI benefits. Such hospitals are there, and there you can get medical benefits, and also some both cash benefits. Just one example I will be giving. If you are pregnant lady goes for delivery and she cannot go to the school or for work, for 6 months she will be paid in cash because she was not able to go for the work, and her payment is made by the ESI. So she will get cash benefits as well as the medical benefits. It was conceived as a compulsory social security benefit for workers in the formal sector. Then the Employees State Insurance Corporation manages the scheme and is a corporate semi-government body headed by the Union Minister of Labour as chairman and a Director General as the chief executive. It is a corporate semi-government body headed by the Union Minister. You see, this is a government plan itself, as a chairman and Director General as the chief executive. So this is a semi-government body that you must remember. Next, so the act compulsorily covers what all things that this ESI covers. One thing, all power using non-seasonal factories employing 10 or more persons. Now whichever factories use the power means this one, electricity or and that power. So power using non-seasonal factories, not the seasonal, non-seasonal means throughout 12 months running factories where there are employees more than 10. So not one or two, there should be, if the 9 members are there, then it is not covered, that factory. Though if the members are 10, then it will be covered. So that one factories. Then all non-power using factories employing 20 or more employees. See, if the factory doesn't use power, electricity or anything, and just with the manual labor is your process is done manually, in such cases up to 20 employees you need not have the ESI to the employees. So the workers in those factories are at losers. So 19 means the factory need not go for the ESI, only about 20 members. Then service establishment like shops, hotels, restaurants, cinemas, road transport, everything comes in the this one ESI scheme. Even the construction workers, restaurants, if a restaurant has more than the 10 people, then they have to go for the ESI. Then the shops, whichever may be having the employees more than the 10, then they have to go for the this one. Then cinema centers also, if the employees number is more than the 10, then they have to go for the ESI scheme. So next, let's move to the next slide. What are the ways of availing this one? To avail of the sickness benefit, the employee has to have worked for 78 days prior to the sickness. If you have taken a leave and now you are sick, then your medical benefits are not paid. So just before then, that 78 days you have to work it. Then similarly, to avail of the maternity benefit, the woman has to have worked for 70 days prior to availing the benefit. Even if you want to have a maternity leave, then 70 days before you have to work. It cannot say that you are not able, so that I want benefit. No, she has to work it. Then Act does not include employees whose wages exceed 25,000 per month. Those who are getting 25,000 or above that, then they will not be getting this scheme. So only the low salaried people are getting this ESI scheme. Next. So ESI scheme contribution, how much they contribute? See, state government's share is 1/8 of expenditure on medical treatment and attendance. So 7/8 being borne by the ESI. Whatever you get from the ESI, that ESI gives you out of, now for example, 200 rupees you are paid. ESI pays you to, in the 200 rupees, 175 rupees are paid by the ESI and 25 is given as a contribution from the state, that we must know it. Then employees pay, how payment is made for the ESI. Employees pay on an average 1.75% of the wages and employers contribute 4.75 of the wage bill. The employee who is getting daily wage of less than rupees 100 shall be exempted from payment of a contribution. So nowadays nobody is getting below 100 rupees. So whenever a company pays salary, so the recipient, the worker has to contribute a little, that 1.75 of his share of his salary has to be given for the ESI, but the factory has to give a more. So these figures you must see this. So factory has to give 4.75 and this amount is not refundable. It goes to the ESI company, because to help the other whoever is sick, therefore ESI company will never receive it. Next. So what are the benefits of ESI scheme? There are a lot of benefits from the ESI scheme. We will go through that now one by one. Sickness benefit. What are the sickness benefits? At the rate of 70% of the daily average wage is given to the employee for a maximum period of 91 days in 1 year. In diseases like tuberculosis, leprosy, fracture, malignancy, etc., the sickness benefits are extended to 2 years, 80% of the wages. So what it says is 70% of daily wages is given to the employee for a maximum period of 91 days. Even if a person doesn't go for, in such cases, these cases, leprosy or any fracture, that wages will be paid from the sickness, ESI benefit, that is called cash benefits. Then maternity benefit. In the case of maternity, there is a lot of benefits at the rate of full wages for a period of 84 days in case of pregnancy and 6 weeks in case of miscarriage or MTP. So this say medical treatment are looked after. Additional to that the wages what you are getting in your organization also will be paid. The reason is very simple. Your organization contributes to 4.15 for the ESI company, and that's the reason. So maternity benefit, even the cash benefits are provided. So there is a maternity sickness benefit is there, then maternity benefit is there, then we will go. Then disablement benefit. So what is this disablement benefit? In cash, 90% of the wages is given to the temporary disabled person during the period of disablement. In case of permanent disablement, the payment is made at the same rate for the whole of his life in the form of pension. See, if a worker gets disabled, handicapped, or accidents, in such cases, 90% of the wages he will be given, even in the this one temporary disablement. And if he is permanently disabled, then ESI company pays the pension. So this is a great benefit for the people who get accident and are not able to work. Then dependent benefit. What is the another benefit? Paid at the rate of 90% of wage in the form of a monthly payment to the dependents of a deceased insured person in cases where death occurs due to employment injury or occupational hazards. See, now in a factory, for example, one person was working, and due to accident in the factory, or while working in the factory, he collapsed and dead. So in such cases, his this one part paid at the rate of 90% of wages monthly to the dependent. See, in the disablement, to the person itself who is not able to work is paid. In the case of death, to his wife or to the whoever dependent on him, for them payment is made. Then next, funeral benefit. Even for the funeral, some benefits are given. An amount of rupees 10,000 is paid to the eldest surviving member for the funeral purpose. In the ESI, this funeral benefit is also given. Then medical benefit. So all member of the worker gets the medical cover, including the outdoor treatment, specialist services, ambulance services, and indoor services. There are limits to that. So a particular limit of benefits only covered. That is I am not going to deal in detail, but some medical benefits are provided to when you are going for the treatment. Then problems in ESI scheme. Large numbers of posts of medical staff remain vacant due to high turnover and low remuneration. In the ESI, what happened is large numbers of posts of medical staff remain vacant today. So due to the high turnover and low remuneration. Then another one is rising costs of and technology advancement in super specialty treatment. Though this is another problem of the ESI. So costs are rising today of the treatment, and technological advancement in and super specialty in the treatments are increasing, so that what happens is payments are coming very high and they are not capable of pay. Then patient satisfaction is low. Why patient satisfaction is low is because it covers only a few things. So all your payments are not made. In that case, patients are not satisfied. In rural areas, the access to the service is also a problem, because every hospital is not will not give the ESI benefits. Or small hospitals where in the rural cases exist, they don't have such facility, so they have to travel to the cities. Then that is a problem of the rural people. So these are the problems of the ESI scheme. So here I close with the ESI concept. So in today's class, we saw the functions of the health insurance. Then we covered how to cover the items that how to plan the health insurance. Then we saw the types of the health insurance. Basically we saw that health this one social health insurance. Then we saw the private health insurance, then the community based health insurances. And in the social health insurances, we saw there are two types and one more is adding, and in that we dealt with one today, that is ESI. And in the next class we will deal with another.